Hello and welcome to the Drivers' Room Endurance Championship finale of Season 4 in Tier 1. F1 has wrapped up the championship with a race to go, with Nürburgring and Muller in a tight fight for second, with Gadget just behind in fourth. And further down the field, Pluxtheduck still has a chance with a good race here to take 5th place away from Senna, with Ben and Mungino not racing today. Let's see what happened down at the track. We've got a smaller grid today. A lot of drivers aren't particularly fond of the Nordschleife, but in the dark this should be the greatest challenge of all. So as we fade down from the Nürburgring sign, we can see that Pluxtheduck took pole with an 8 minutes 44 second lap. He'll be starting on the soft tyres. Gadget, another Nürburgring specialist, starting second in the Lexus. Then we've got V8 putting in a strong 3rd position qualifying in the Lambo. Then we've got Senna, look for him to make a fast start in that Mustang from the 4th position. Nürburgring in 5th, unfortunately will probably lose some positions off the line, as will Plux in the Toyotas. Then we've got Jules in the Renault, followed by Muller in 7th in the Citroen, and Jamie rounds out the field with his only race of the season, but good to have him back after an extended absence. Let's see what happened. So the lights coming on now, revs are building, and we expect to see the Lexus and V8's Lambo make a great start. Pluxtheduck and Nürburgring will probably drop down the field. Yes, they will. The Toyota is horrendous at starting. Plux chops across. Senna actually trying to hold on to that position. He can't do it. Let's see if they're clean into turn 1. Oh, a little bit of bumping there. Looks like Jules. Oh, the V8's come back onto the track a little awkwardly. That's going to drop Nürburgring down a couple of positions as well. Let's see. Let's take another look at the start there. So we're on board with Nürburgring. You can just see, look at the cars coming roaring past straight away. He loses all the way down to 7th, possibly even 8th position if Jamie can get him into turn 1. No, Jamie's backed off. A cautious approach. You can see V8 there, came back across. Oh, that made things awkward. Muller stepped out of the line as well, I think, there. So we carry on lap 1. Senna holds on to 2nd position. A great start for him in the Mustang. Pulsed to Plux. He is now caught behind them. There's Jules, who made a great start. In the McGann trophy car should be fairly good around the Nürburgring, but it does really suffer with a lack of top end speed. It's Nürburgring trying to fight his way back up the grid. There's Gadget. Gadget's going to hope Senna can hold Plux for as long as possible. Oh, small graphical error there. All over the back of Senna there. This exit is really important. Looks like Senna's got a really strong exit there. He's pulling away from the Toyota. A little flash of the lights, maybe in frustration, maybe to try and upset Senna's rhythm into the fast chicane. This is a much more open chicane than on the GP circuit. You come in at around 90 miles an hour, you apex. And there's Plux. He's got a much better run through there. He might try and dive it down as we head onto the Nordschleife. Yes, he does. Just gets the car in there clean. That's a great move there by Pluxtheduck. Taking 2nd position away from Senna as we come through one of the strongest parts of the track for the Toyota. The handling cars like the Toyota and the Trophy McGann will be very strong through here. And that won't please Gadget, who was probably hoping to get a bit more of a gap away from the fast Toyota. As we cut back through the field, Jules is still holding on to 4th. Oh, he's made a mistake into this section though. Muller's right behind him. V8's still there with Knee. After that terrible start, got a little bit oofed out into the gravel. Just so easy to have happen here. As we run up towards Flugplatz for the first time. Very important, if you're the last car in the train, you've got to lift off through here a little bit. Just because otherwise you might get a little bit of front lift, you'll lose the traction, lose the grip through this corner as we watch. Oh, Jerry's on those medium tyres at the front, has run wide there. That's a real shame for him as we're back on board with Gadget in the fast Lexus. The Lexus is a bit more of a bruiser. It's not as nippy through the corners as the Toyota, but it's got great acceleration, it's got good grip, and it's got a 7th gear which helps it with fuel saving and using its strengths, which is low to mid-range torque. The Toyota, on the other hand, is not so good on the straights as we run through Arenberg for the first time. Still one of the most scary but rewarding sections of track in the whole of racing. You plunge through the trees. So we're on board with Jules, who's still holding on to that strong 4th position. The advantage of competing in this race, no matter where you finish, you're going to get a reasonably good point score with only 8 starters. That's why more drivers should probably have attempted this race, because you're guaranteed to get some reasonable points. But alas, some people are a little bit afraid of the Nürburgring. As we watch V8 there, he's made a mistake around the outside of Miss Hit Miss, and that's going to cost him a couple of positions. And oh, he clatters into knee as well. That's a real unfortunate. Probably had dirt in his tyres. He lost balance, lost grip. Sorry. On board as we run up the hill, or towards up the hill. Sorry. It's a very difficult corner, and actually Senna's managed to hang on quite well in that Mustang through the tighter section. He's now going to have the advantage as we head uphill. We should close on the Toyota as we're now on board with the rear wing of Plux's Toyota. And you can see, slowly, here comes the Mustang. Of course, the Toyota will be helped up the hill by the fact he's in tow of the big Lexus. This is pulling the field together towards the twisty section and of course up towards the carousel. Always a difficult corner. Gadget doing a good job at the moment. Just managing, always running a little bit wide there, but we'll be able to cut back across, get back on the power nicely. Here he goes, up towards the carousel for the first time. It's all about getting a good controlled entry into the corner. Oh! And just as I was talking about controlled entries, that's an absolute shocker for Gadget. Oh, and Senna's lost it on the exit, probably a little bit too excited about getting back into 2nd position. And this has released the Toyota of Flux with almost no hold up, no hindrance. So we're on board with Jules, managed to hold on to 4th position, even though we went up the hill. As they run side by side, that's a great move by V8 there. That's a tough place to overtake. It's kind of almost a very shallow brake zone through there. And this is going to really infuriate me because he's probably got the best car through the twisty section here. But he's not going to be able to use it. As we run on board, we're trying to run as many onboard cameras as possible today. There's V8, still a bit ragged. I think that's going to hurt him. Let's stay on board with Jules there. Moving up with Gadget. Gadget's going to be stronger than Senna through this section. And it's important to note tyre wear here because it's such a long lap and you can already see the damage that Senna's done to those tyres on the Mustang. Senna's not only one of the worst on tyres, he's also picked probably the worst non-4-wheel drive car on tyres in the Gr.4 category. The Mustang's not a great handling car. It really struggles with front end tyres. It's such a long car. Let's get it. Let's see as they run through. This is a deceptively slow corner and Senna's run out wide. I said he might. That car's not good at through these sort of sections. Let's run through the mini carousel. It's gone wide out of there as well. Will Jules get a pop at him now? He stayed reasonably close. No, Senna looks to have got away there. By him. Stay on board with this pack. Let's see, V8 there, running it all of Death Star around the outside. The advantage you'll get is you'll get a good run out of that corner. And the Huracan is exceptionally fast down this straight. Watch as these two should race up to the back of the Citroen. There we go. Toyota in the tow can do nothing about. Citroen, here is the Citroen, and look at the rate at which V8 is closing. This is lap 1 of an hour-long race, but he's doing 166 miles an hour. He's going to have to lift off, but he allows himself down the inside. A little bit of rubbing there. He's on. Oh no! Oh, that little bit of contact probably had very little effect, but it probably made him stay on that lift a little bit more. Miller's actually let those guys through. Probably think it might have been his fault. As we carry on now down the main straight. Forward with knee. Oh, V8 looks like he went a little bit wide into the exit, and he's clattered into the back of knee as well. That's an awful mistake. Obviously completely non-intentional. He just got caught out by the track coming in, which you can usually see in the daytime. And he got a bad exit of that corner out as well. That's a little flash to say sorry from V8, I believe. Definitely not an intentional mistake. This is V8's final race in Tier 1. He's volunteered to step down into Tier 2, as he doesn't feel up to the challenge of heavy damage next season, which is a big talking point for next year. As we are now halfway around lap 2. This is Jules, and now we're back on board with Muller and Nijo. Muller's doing a good job here. In a car that's probably not really optimal for this track. It's a bit low, it's a bit susceptible to bumps. As we'll stay on board with Senna, who's running a little bit. Oh, there it is! I was going to talk about this corner at some point. It's the hardest corner on the track in my opinion. It invites you with that heavy camber. There's Jules passed into 3rd position. It's got a strong camber to it. So it makes you think you can carry a lot more speed, but on the exit the camber falls away. The corner tightens up. And V8's made a mistake as well there. Catching 2 people out on the same lap. There is Muller with knee all behind him. Again, knee in that Toyota. Just cannot make a move happen. He's probably going to have to wait until the end of next lap. If Muller's tyres wear a bit more. But Muller is of course famous for being very good on tyres. But also infamous for having a strong dislike for this track. But he has toughed it out. You have to applaud him for that. A lot of drivers haven't. There's Plux in the lead. In a second. What we did see in some of the practice sessions, a little too over-eager to go putting in fastest laps, and actually did cause himself some damage to his tyres. This race will be, as we're watching Senna try to hold on to the back of that McGann, but I highly doubt he's going to be able to do much. Now his tyres are much more worn. He's going through the tightest, twistiest section of the track. You can already see Jules starting to pull away actually. Strategy here. It's going to be a 1 or a 2 stop as we're back on board with knee. Back onto the interior camera. This really is one of the best sections of the track. If you've got a car that can do with that. Oh, it has a little look there, but I think that was a little late. And again, well, they're doing just enough through this tight corner. It's all about the exit. He's doing enough just to hold off the back of knee as we head towards the Flats Gardens. And here we are on our way down towards Flats Garden. Onboard camera view from the bumper and knee jogger. Oh, he's run a bit. Oh, he's cut the corner there. He's going to go wide. Oh, big clatter into the barrier. This is actually a really good time to mention, of course, heavy damage next season is going to have some impact on that as we drop to the end of lap 2. And we can see Senna has decided to ditch those tyres, so he's going to be doing at least a 2 stop. and he's had to take some fuel. Mustang being quite thirsty. There's V8. Nürburgring's already closed up a bit to Miller after that mistake at the end of lap 2. Watch there, Gadget and Plux. The gap's opened out a bit, and Plux set a best lap of an 8 minutes 54. Gadget was some 4 seconds behind him. These two just trying to manage their tyres and see if they can stretch. Now with Nürburgring and Miller. Nürburgring still stuck behind him after racing up behind him. As we head now towards one of the fastest corners on the track. We saw back in season 3 it is potentially possible to do an overtake around the outside here. Nürburgring might have fancied it. Of course it was him it was done to last time as we head towards... Oh, that looked like Miller went wide. Yes he did. He's hit the gravel and now he's going to be digging out kiddie litter of that Citroen for some time. So we're on board with V8 now. And Senna, who's going to be chasing him down in the Mustang. On those fresh tyres. Miller's going to be kicking himself for that unforced error. Both of these guys are actually closing up to Jules. Jules hasn't set a particularly good lap time yet. He just hasn't made any mistakes. As we see Nürburgring there. Already closing him down. The Toyota is the best car in Group 4. It's been well known. It's become very obvious at this point. And, there are starting to be rumours that it will be banned for 2020's DREC seasons. It's just a little bit too good. So still on board with Nürburgring further around the lap. And look at the difference. He's finally found a car he can overtake. Jules checks the inside. He's doing 10 miles an hour slower. And he does let him through. Oh, a big bit of oversteer there. Now to Pluxtheduck at the end of the lap. He'll be looking to try and keep his lap times under 9 minutes. Is he going to quite do it? He will just with an 8:57 as we're now on board with Gadget. So Gadget's going to have to do something here, I think. He's going to have to pit to try and get ahead because Plux is now committed to a 1-stop. It's going to be a 7-lap race. Goes in. He's got a big gap to Knee having all those problems early on. As we see the Team Sigma boys here. As the big Lexus comes in. That's a pretty slick pit stop there by the Sigma boys. No fuel required, of course. But he's only going to go 2 laps probably. He's bolted on some super soft tyres. Those to try and bridge the gap to Plux, because of course Plux is now on a lap 4 of his tyres. They are very worn now. And Senna is out lap on those tyres. Jules is in at the end of lap 3, even though the Megane is supposed to be one of the best on its tyres. D8 seems to be crawling around now. Is also in for his stop. Jules is out. He of course came out behind Senna, because Senna pitted last lap and would have got the fresher tyres. Now Senna is catching up to the back of Miller. Senna of course on fresher tyres. Miller hasn't pitted yet. Oh, Senna's run deep into that corner, probably carried a little bit too much speed, unsighted of the curb because of Miller's car being there, which of course is not Miller's fault. That's probably where he made the mistake then. Oh, I think Senna's gone round again. Oh, clouts the barrier. And this track would have been even more difficult if it was coming next season in Tier 1. As we alluded to earlier, heavy damage is introduced, which will make the racing in Tier 1 more realistic and even tougher. watch, knee jogger. The bright lights of that LFC car. There's Gadget, fair way ahead, having pitted on those super soft tyres. He'll be flying now. He's on board with Müller, who's now got that nice gap. Oh, he's done it again! He's gone wide at the same corner one lap later, and he's probably not calibrated. He's kind of broke probably earlier than he did the lap before, but because his tyres are so much more worn, he's going to lose the position to Senna. I think he's going to just hold off Jules. But Jules is now going to have fresh tyres. Müller's on very old tyres. And that is not exactly what you want. Oh, full commitment there by Jules through that corner. It is a fun one. Once the fuel starts to come off these cars, they do liven up a bit. And they're fat with fuel, they're a bit lethargic and a bit tricky to get into corners. But once they're light, these cars are probably the most fun cars in the whole of the DREC championship. Because they're that little bit more throwable. You can throw them around, you can get on the power nice and early because they haven't got excessive amounts of power. They're the lightest cars for the most part. Here we go through. It's one of the tricky corners. You've got to miss this first apex, then you've got to try and clip the second one and miss the third one. And what they both did there was miss the first one, miss the second one, and just about hit the third one. So that's a classic fourth lap line from Müller there, but he kept it out the grass, which is what's most important. You lose half a second going wide at the apex there, but you can lose 3 or 4 seconds clouting that barrier. Again, Müller showing his defensive driving skills as we jump up the field with Senna. He's doing a good job now. As we're at the end of lap 4 now, Plux has come in. He's got 23 litres of fuel still in the car, or 23% of his fuel. Fueling up. See if Gadget can close it down. It's going to be tight. Gadget has put in an excellent outlap. This will be a 152? 151, sorry. Where is Plux? Just see the red tail lights there, so Plux just about stays out. That long pit stop, of course, is dropping back. Gadget, will be pitting at the end of this lap for a new set of supers, which will give him a shot actually at getting fastest lap on the final lap of the race. Plux will have one go at it as well next lap when he's got fresh tyres, but if he doesn't get it then Gadget could steal away an extra point, which could help him in the chase for second position in the championship. Nürburgring in third, also pits, using 2% more than Plux did in the same car, but of course he was stuck behind people and might have braked the engine a bit harder. Oh, and Müller's missed the pit entry, I think that's why he stopped, and that's an absolute crippler because this game, unlike previous ones, if you reverse back, you, if I remember, you get reset. So I don't know what's going to happen there, and actually if you look, Müller has dropped to last, so I think he's been docked a lap or something rubbish like that. As you see, Gadget actually is on for a purple lap time at the moment. 1.3 seconds up on Plux's purple last time by. He's just behind the Toyota now. Can he put some pressure? This is where he needs to. He's going to have tyres he knows and a car that feels a bit better than it did last time through here because he's burned off a lap of fuel. He needs to stay tight to the back of that Toyota before Plux starts to get a feel for how the car feels. This first sector, the difference in tyre and fuel should be fairly balanced. Flugplatz onwards until we get towards the carousel actually may favour the Lexus over the Toyota with the current fuel loads. As long as Gadget hasn't taken too much out of those tyres early on, you could have a chance of having a go at Plux. If you can get by and slow him up, not allow him to kind of race away, this could be really helpful for Gadget. Equally, he could try and force Plux into a mistake as there's full commitment through those corners now by both these drivers. Gadget wants this win desperately. He hasn't had a win since Season 1. Really, he should have been fighting for wins a lot more than he has done. He's had a couple of seasons of unfortunate errors. There's Plux, who's desperately trying to get a win this season. Of course, race 1 this season was cruelly stolen away from him with 11 minutes left. He'll want to win desperately well after being beaten by F1 soundly. As we cut through the field quickly, there's Jamie in 7th. And Muller, who is on a 12-minute long lap thanks to that pit lane error, glitch, terribleness. And that's basically his race sunk, because he's now a lap technically behind everyone else. So that is really rubbish for him. And here's what I mean, look how close Gadget's managed to get. This is one of the best parts of the track for the Lexus. So we head through Miss It Miss. Misses the first one, clips that second apex, as does Gadget. And you kind of just... It's not so much that you miss the third one, you just don't try and hit it. As you open the steering out, you kind of gently waft past the apex, but you don't try and hit it. Because otherwise you'll kind of put too much steering angle through the car. These two boys, probably the most experienced Nürburgring drivers in the whole DREC field. As you can see, I'm starting to think, well, I'll hold my breath, because of course we have got the track up the hill. And I think possibly, as we look at Nürburgring now, with Senna, who's, of course, Senna's just pitted, Nürburgring's just pitted. Senna will pitch at the end of this lap. Nürburgring fighting all over the back of Senna's car. These guys too go through Miss It Miss. Senna's wide at the mark though there. This is a good battle between these two cars now. And he's going to have to be careful here. He can't attack too quickly. This sector of track isn't going to be his strong point. He's not going to be able to get past him down the straight here. He's going to have to wait. Oh, no, he's not. Senna's decided instead he wants to go and kiss the barrier. And that is a nice, easy overtake for me. And unfortunately, Senna's picked up a penalty. That barrier out there, if you clip it, the game likes to sting you for a penalty. We run strong penalties here. As we're back with the leaders now. Gadget unable to really make any distance up towards the carousel, and I think now that's his best opportunity to steal the lead back gone. He'll be pitting at the end of this lap. Plux won't have to pit again. As we go up the hill, here's Senna. Like I say, Senna didn't pit. Look at the state of those front tyres. No wonder he ran wide once he was under pressure. This is where the Mustang's strong. He's going to be able to have a go. No, he's not. He's backed off a little bit, I think. He knows he can't have a go through the twist. He's backed off, burnt off his penalty. And he'll accept the fact that Nürburgring's got through for third, as here we are on board with the leaders. I don't know what on board means, but it's my new version of saying on board. Tracking Plux through here. This is going to be his strong section of the track. But he can't go too banzai yet. That's something important to note. These guys have to drive fast, but they can't make mistakes. And at night, these cars, this track, it's very easy to do so. You can only see really the next kind of couple of 100 feet in front of you, even with your headlights ablaze. And now those tyres on that Lexus, they're starting to get a little worn. You heard him, it's take a big lift through Flaxgarden 1. Here we are through Flaxgarden 2. And Plux is away from those headlights of the Lexus. You can see how much gap he's pulled out through the twisty section as we spin back around the camera. Through this right, through the tricky left. It's slightly off camber on exit. It wants to pull you towards that nice big gravel trap. Here's the mini carousel. Fairly committed, but nothing overzealous yet. As we come through the final corner before the dotting a straight. Here we are with Knee. And look at the difference in the gap between what it was when they were running up the hill to where Senna is now. Of course, Senna will be pitting it into this lap. Assume Jules will do the same. V8's had a fairly quiet into the middle part of this race. Jamie too. We'll get some reasonable points for a 7th position. And Muller, who's unfortunately had his race completely curtailed after a really strong start. As we are now at the end of lap 5, we've got Senna and Jules into the pits, and V8. That midfield grouping. Jules is having to fuel for longer though. I think Senna decided to put his fuel in earlier. V8's just on his way into the pit box now. Running a chrome, well, liquid metal livery for tonight. It sparkles in the admittedly few lights that we have around this track. He's recently picked up some Coca-Cola sponsorship on his cars. There's Gadget. After his pit stop, that's the gap we're looking at now. So it's around a sector, the gap. Plux, this is the lap he's going to have to push. You can see he is doing so. He's half a second up on his own best. This is his one, I think, opportunity to take fastest lap and put it in a position where Gadget can't chase it down. So we can't follow around the track more. He was still up on his best as he runs through this left-hander. A little wobble there. Oh! And Plux has gone in deep. He's going to bounce off that barrier. That's that lap ruined. And this gives Gadget a really good shot at the fastest lap now, actually. He could steal that away from him. And every point would be useful. Of course, Plux 2 is hoping for every point possible. He's still trying to get 5th in the championship overall. Well, this season, sorry. In the annual championship, he is first up. That is going to have really annoyed Plux as we jump towards the beginning of lap 7 on board with Gadget now. This is the final lap of the race. And this is Gadget's shot of taking away fastest lap. A great run through the first 2 corners. Let's see how he is through the first sector split. He's a whopping 3/4 of a second up already on Plux's time. Of course, the Lexus is a little bit better on the power than the Toyota, but still, that's huge. He's now on board with Plux. He must be going for it this time, knowing that Gadget has got a chance here. Let's see what the slick times are. As Gadget runs through the hairpin at the bottom of the GP loop. Has he managed to pull it out any further? Yes, he has, just a little bit. And there's Plux. So as you can see, they're running about a sector apart, because all the sectors are fairly well spaced. So they run through here, maximum commitment through that fast chicane, 100 miles an hour on entry, about 95 on exit. So he's got to throw it through here. You can't hit that curve too much, otherwise that happens. And Plux is actually down on his best. Meanwhile, Gadget is still pulling more time. He could steal this away. The Toyota is the better car around this track. It's worth noting. The qualifying time showed us this, but Plux has burnt his tyres more because this is his 3rd lap on the tyres. He's not going to be as sharp through here if you run through the... Just going to attack those curbs. Hope the car doesn't do anything nasty. And here, throw it over that curb, completely blind. Power out of that exit as we head towards Flugplatz. And this is Gadget's go through the same set of corners. Let's see how he looks. Nice run through there. Back on board with the Toyota as he heads up towards the Arenberg section. Gadget still running fast. Again, fire yourself over that curb. Hope that nothing bad happens as you land, and launch it down the straight towards Flugplatz. You jump back on board with him. Let's see if he's still up. He is, but he's lost a bit of time this time by. But of course, this is one of the best sectors of the track for the Toyota. Plux has managed to scrape himself a little slim margin. He's now 12 thousandths up on himself. Let's see what Gadget's doing as he heads up towards the fast left-hander. He needs to be fully committed through here. Small lift probably, yep. Still 7th gear. Then he's got to pull the car back across as he gets to the end of that curb. is a good lap from Gadget too. Nice exit. And he's up still by 4 tenths. Plux has found a couple of tenths through the next sector. Plux's tyres are going to wear though. Gadget's too, but you think Super's on the second lap might last a little bit longer. Oh, fully committed. You heard how hard he hit that curb. He's going to run it through here, get it down a couple more gears. There we go. Now, concentrate on that power out of that exit. Nice job there. He's up around 6 tenths. So, the advantage is still with Gadget. As we run through miss, hit, miss, you can see just how fast this section is. And you've got to brake hard through this tight left hairpin. Spot your late apex and then get on the power nice and early. Mindful of the right-hander, it's like the switchback corner. He was still purple, I just missed what the split time was there though. There is Nürburgring in third. I'm just going to take a little look through the field as Senna runs a little bit wide but gets away with it. There's Jules. He's on his lap that's 4 seconds faster than his personal best so far, so that's a great lap for him. We have unfortunately lost Miller. I believe he had a disconnection after that horrendous problem he had earlier, as we're still back on board with Plux to the hardest corner on the track. He's navigated that safely. Let's see what his split time is. We are here. He's now 4 tenths up. So this is starting to be a good lap from Plux. Of course, both these cars on minimal fuel. Let's see what Gadget can do. This is, I believe, more. As long as neither of these two cars come off, it's not like Gadget's going to close him down. But this is a battle for pride. Who is the faster driver at the Nürburgring? Gadget, he's still up and he's going to pull a long way. Plux has found a 10th up through this sector. Let's see what the gap's going to be. Well, the split times are going to be for Gadget as we run up through here. This is the strongest part of the track for the Lexus. He's going to crush the split time that Plux did through here. He's just going to make sure he's got enough tyres left in that twisty section and really attack it. Attacks through that corner. Beautiful run through there. He's up 1.2 seconds. That's a huge sector for him. As Plux heads up. It's going to be the fast left through here. Don't run wide through here now. You're going to go down one gear through here. Full commitment over those curbs. You can see just how dark it is through here. Then left-hander through here. Gets it down to second to get the nose in. Up to third. He's up now 6 tenths through here. Then through here. Clip that inside curb. Then clip the next one down a gear to get the nose back round. Stay on that curve. Then through here. Then round the tight right-hander. This car always throws away from himself. He just keeps it on the grass. Then this one. You always brake a little too late for here. He's got to hold it round the outside. Gets the car back across nicely. Now through here. Again attacking that curb. Use all the curb on the exit. Then brakes on the curb still. Through the tight right-hander. Mind the gravel there. He's up again. Half a second. He runs it super tight through there. Gets on the power nicely as we head towards Flats Garden. We'll have to see what Gadget responds with. This is maximum commitment from the race leader. He runs it through in 4th gear. That's not really the right gear. He should have dropped it to 3rd through there. As we head towards Flats Garden 2. Let's see what he's managed to do. That looked fairly committed. Was it fast though? It was. He's up 9 tenths of a second on his best lap as we head towards these 3 corners before the Dottinger. Full commitment. 5th gear through there. What's he going to be through here? 3rd gear. Make sure he clips that inside curb. Doesn't run too wide into the gravel. Let's see what he does to the mini carousel. Full commitment. 75 miles an hour. Oh, and he steps the back out on the exit. That's how hard he's pushing. We saw earlier what his line was through there. Completely different line now he's pushing. 4th gear through the Dottinger corner onto Dottinger straight. That was massively committed. Hit that inside bump, but got really lucky not to bump it wide. As we head towards here, what's the sector time going to be? Nürburgring is in 3rd still. There's Gadget. Right, let's see what his line through here is. That's a lot slower through there. Only 69 miles an hour through. He's lost a lot of time through there. Yeah, the Super's starting to fade. Oh, and a big wiggle through Dottinger. That's a mistake. That's going to cost him a few tenths. And by the end of the straight, maybe a lot more. Plux is now a whopping 1.8 seconds up on his best. What's Gadget up to? He's only 4 tenths. This is going to have to be a huge straight for him. The Lexus is strong, but he's going to have to find 1.4 seconds through the final 2 sectors. Plux launches it out the final corner. He's going to take the win, but more importantly, let's see who can take fastest lap. He's forgotten completely that he needs to celebrate a victory. It's going to be a 1:51.9. That's a massive lap. And Gadget's going to have to go faster than he did for pole position. He's currently still down. He's going to have to brake super late into this corner. Throw everything at the wall. He's got plenty of time back to third. Oh, but I don't think that's quite committed enough. He could have gone in deeper through there. Gets on the power nicely though. Here he goes. How close will he get? It's going to be a 50. There goes a 51. It's going to be a 52.7. That's a huge lap from Gadget, matching his second on the grid time, basically. Here's Knee. He took a great third position after some early errors and getting caught behind drivers. He fought back through. Good work for him, and he sets a best of an 8:58. And we've got Senna in fourth. A good race from him. Was compromised on strategy, but did a good job. He'll take a strong fourth position. There's Jules in fifth. He's actually got a huge amount of penalties actually. If V8 can get close to him, and he is only just behind him, get back on the power, he might be able to sneak this. Oh, he just misses out. After that fantastic tight race at the front, we see, as we knew already, that F1 is champion this season. Unfortunately, he has to move to a reserve driver role next season thanks to real life. Nijogger held on to second place after that strong third position finish in this round. Gadget moves up to third. Muller gets no points, unfortunately, and Plux does indeed jump up the field to fifth position. Senna finishes a strong sixth, Ben in seventh, and Mung in eighth. Looking forward to next season, we will be having some relegations. Jamie D and Lorcas unfortunately will be moving down to Tier 2, along with Rocker and V8, who are both elected to move down to Tier 2. But please catch everything from Season 5 and DREC soon, where we'll be having new challenges and new drivers. See you then.